Hello everyone, welcome to For His Namesake. We are so glad that you have joined us. Valentine and I'm Martina, for those of you who are joining us for the first time. We welcome you to the channel, and Valentine and I are going to be talking about something new again. We're always doing some new things here on this channel. A new thing that we'd like to get started on this channel, and I already brought that to your attention a few days ago, but I really didn't tell you what it was all about. Suddenly there was a story called Trauma in Rio, and I was off to the corner and reading a story to you, and I looked really serious, and that was my first story, so I was a little nervous. My first story presenting it to you, so I was a little nervous, so maybe that's why I was a little serious, too serious. But it's been on my heart for some time now to do a section on this channel about sharing the true stories in our lives where God made himself known somehow. And we were trying to come up with a title of what we would call that, and Valentine came up with the perfect title for that.
Well, I did pray beforehand, but
yes.
The title that came to mind was God in Our Stories, because we want to include God. God is in our lives anyway, and he means something extra when you're a Christian. That's what we want this to be, Christian-based stories, even if the story itself, maybe you were, like for instance, the Trauma in Rio. That was before my mom was Christian, but God was, he's the author of our stories anyway.
Right.
So.
Yes, that's true. So, yeah, God in our stories. And we wanted to say that although we will start this on this channel and see how it goes, and we'll just see how it goes. We may have to do another channel and call it something else, but for now we'd like it to be part of our channel, because the problem with putting it on another channel, there's so many other true stories out there. I'm sure you've seen it. If you just type in true stories, a whole line full of channels come up, and a lot of those unfortunately are crime related. I mean, if you have a true story and it has some crime in it, that's fine, as long as you know you were brought out of it somehow because God got you out of it, you know, something like that. But we don't want to just let that be the focus. Those are a lot of one subject focus stories. A lot of them have to do with crime or negative things, just one negative thing after another, or how, you know, revengeful stories. We don't want something that's just the same thing. So ours will be set apart. As it says in scripture, we're supposed to set ourselves apart. Even though we are in the world, it doesn't mean we become of the world. So ours will be set apart in that it'll be God in our stories. So I'm going to have Valentine. We had in the last story that I did, it did have in the description box the criteria, or requirements rather, that are needed if you want to submit your own story. And so I'm going to have Valentine read those off to you, and they will be in the description box again, but we're going to go ahead and have her read them to you. And we've added one more.
Okay. To submit a story, I hope you guys can hear us. We have the AC on.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Folks.
Yeah, we're going to have to keep this, turn it down now.
Sorry about that, folks. Okay. To submit a story, it must be true. It can tell of a particular time, event, or experience in your life. Be sure to include God in the story. Like, did God protect you? Did you feel God's presence in the midst of your story? Or did God provide for you and or bless you in some way? Those are some ideas. If you don't think you're a good storyteller, or even worried that what you send does not flow nicely, this is okay. We can edit it to help the story narrate smoothly. Now, when we say edit, I don't think we mean that we're going to add something to the story that wasn't even true. Basically, like the grammar, maybe we'll just fix up and edit that way. Yeah. But we're not going to add something totally random to your story.
Right, because then it wouldn't be true anymore.
No. And all submissions become the property of this channel for his namesake, in order to avoid legal disputes and or copyright infringements. So basically, when you give us your story and you already gave us permission that we can share it, you can't take it back and say, oh, I changed my mind, I don't want it after all. It's too late, especially once we've already posted it.
Right, because then we'd have to take down the whole video. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And then we don't want to get in trouble. Like if you were to
Right.
do something like, I never give permission, or someone lied. I'm not saying that you would. Hopefully we have some nice subscribers here, but I'm just saying we might get some random Joes out there who we don't even know, but they submit a story and it seems okay to us to share, but then they come back and say, or they lied. Say, I never gave you permission. Something like that, you know?
Right. So yeah.
Actual names of people will not be disclosed. It is best to select a pen name for yourself. Make sure they're not gender neutral, like Sammy, because there's girls that are named Sammy these days too. For me personally, just so I can have the picture, the story in my mind, I like to know, okay, is this a man, is this a woman talking? It doesn't, you don't have to give your full name. I just want to know like who God is working with in the story. So like
Yeah.
Ben, that's a popular like man's name, or Martha, just strictly man, woman names, okay?
Okay, well, I have something to add on
Yeah.
that one. So she's talking about in your story. So maybe the best way to write the story would be maybe third person. For example, if the story's about you, well, that'd be kind of hard because I was talking about me, so that was first person. I was a little girl. I was the age of 6. And Valentine did ask if someone just came to our channel and they didn't know who you were, how would they know if you were reading the story from someone else and it was a boy? How would they know that that was a girl or boy? So, yeah, that does make it tricky. Because, and even like she said, some names are neutral. Like I knew a boy named Terry, but I also knew a girl named Terry. Terry, so that does make it hard. That's why I don't know how to do that. If y'all know how to go about that, let us know. But
or like in your, if I know when you're submitting the email to me, and I know already who you are, that you are a guy, then I'm gonna say this story was submitted by the name of Ben, and that is a man's name, and I'll just continue to read the story.
And then I also, my husband mentioned also that we could just say, this true story was submitted by a viewer of our channel. Then we wouldn't be mentioning any names and you wouldn't have to worry about giving yourself a false name. Because I know Valentine was kind of nervous about that too. Like, I don't want to lie about my name. Yeah. Okay, so what's the next one on there?
Finally, stories will be narrated and recorded in the order in which they are received.
Yeah, so if further down the line somebody says, hey, you didn't do my story, and I sent that over a month ago, and you haven't done my story yet, well, that means that someone else is in front of you. But we'll get to it when we can, don't worry.
And we have another rule to add.
Yes. The other rule is no, and we'll put that on the description box next time, actually this time when this video comes out, no vulgar language. Now I know we're all Christians. We would hope that everyone's Christian, that's going to be submitting a story, because obviously God is in the story, and how he came through for you and did something spectacular for you. But believe it or not, in this city where we live, and we've done a video on this about some time ago called We Live in a City of Darkness. And in this city, believe it or not, Christians, we have heard Christians use every foul word that you can imagine. I'm almost speechless. I don't know what to say about that. So that's why we're giving this disclaimer. No vulgar language will be accepted of any kind. No blasphemy against God, or making fun of God or talking bad about him. You'd be surprised what, even among Christian circles, some of the things that we've heard. So none of that will be accepted. We will not even do the story, because we wouldn't know how to go about putting another word in there, whatever you were trying to say. So please keep away from vulgar language. I think that was the other one. It was another one in there, but sorry, we didn't have this all written down. We're kind of doing this on a whim kind of thing, so just bear with us. But yeah, and so this, God in our stories, make sure it has God in there and how he came through for you. And it's just something new that's been on my heart. It may come into something, it may not come into nothing, but I did kind of like an experiment, I guess, if you will. I was a little nosy, and I went into YouTube and I just typed in true stories. And like I said, there's a whole bunch of them that come up, but most of them have to do with crime. And then this one lady, she had like a picture of a fireplace and snow falling in the windows, and that's all you stared at the whole time, whether the story was good, bad, or ugly. and I thought, wow, this is a edge of your seat kind of story. I guess I'll focus my eyes on the fireplace. But not to make fun of it, but just we're hoping to incorporate some photos, or whether they're public domain or something that we took ourselves, and put that in the background that matches our story somehow, so that when we're giving the story, you can have the opportunity to just focus on that photograph. Or you're welcome to look at us in the corner, but we're going to be kind of small in the corner of the screen. Now, this is how we're going to do it now. We may change that over time, you know, we'll come up with better ideas, but this is how it is for now. And I'm trying to think what else we need to include. I've been talking nonstop. Did you have something else to say?
I think.
Okay.
The story that's coming out after this, you might as well know it's already my story. And I did add pictures, however, they do not have any people in the pictures. So I figured that was safe enough.
Yeah,
I don't.
they're
we
your
went
own.
over pictures. Should they submit pictures if they have any?
Well, that's
not
another thing,
sure.
because they have to be careful, because then that becomes our property, and they may not want that.
Like, I would not suggest taking a picture of a specific place, definitely not people.
Right, because then someone in your picture may say, hey, I saw me on that channel, and you took my picture without my permission, or something like that, so that would not be good.
Like,
right,
just email us with any questions. Like, I have this a picture in mind that you could put for the background, like maybe a waterfall or something, because my story takes place near the water, something like that.
Yeah, and we're not going to be one of those channels. There was a channel that this lady that I told you about, that had the fireplace and the snow falling in the window at night, and it was, you know, of course, it was very comforting. But I was just curious, because it did say true stories, but then I was just I was kind of curious, because she did say, someone mentioned in the comments, like, oh, by the way, folks, these are not entirely true stories. These are true mixed with fiction. And I thought, what? And then suddenly I was thinking, oh my goodness, I don't like that. So I was kind of brave and asked the channel lady, are these all true stories, or are they a mixture of true stories and fiction? And I wrote it to her, asking, because she calls herself a certain name, I forgot what her name was, and it took her a while to reply, but she wrote back and said, these are true stories that I have seen in my life happen around me, or I read about them, or I saw them on the news. And then, yes, I took the true story, but then I added some little embellishments to make it a little bit more exciting. And then I thought, well, then that's not really a true story anymore. That's what I was thinking to myself. But would you believe that this lady had like 1 million subscribers or something? I don't think she's on there anymore, because when I looked for her, I couldn't find her. This was several years ago, and I could not find her anymore. But people love that. They love it. They don't care if it's true or not. Apparently, they don't care. It doesn't bother them, apparently. And if you're a good storyteller, and I'm not saying that I am, I need to tweak my skills on storytelling. But hey, if the story gets people's attention and they like that kind of thing, that's all that matters. To them, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. But our stories need to be true stories all the way through.
This is a Christian channel for
Yes.
its namesakes.
Right. And so you saw for those of you who saw my story, Trauma in Rio, and that's a kind of an oxymoron, because if you think about it, Rio de Janeiro is a very famous vacation spot. Lots of beach goers go there. People go there for the, I don't know the name of it, Christos something, the Christ up there on the mountain.
The Redeemer.
Redeemer, right. Yeah. Christ the Redeemer. I mean, there's so many neat things to look at in Brazil in itself, and Rio especially. And so for the title to say Trauma in Rio, that probably did not, people were probably like, oh no, I'm not going to look at that, because that is a vacation spot. I can't imagine anything terrible happening. But that was so many years ago. That was back in the 1970s when I was just a little girl, and Rio was a very dangerous place to be. Oh my goodness, half the things I didn't even tell you in that story, because I just wanted to keep it short. No, that's another thing about length, about the length of the story. Please keep your stories, I'd say, you know, some of these stories on these other channels, they're like an hour long. Well, we can't read for an hour. So I would say if you can keep it under 15 minutes long, that would be great. That would be awesome. You can even practice in front of the mirror. You can read after you've typed it out or written it, you can read it out loud to yourself and time it and see if it's, you know, under 15 minutes. But I think most of us won't have any problems, because I thought my story was going to be long and it was only 4.5 minutes long. So anyway, but they're just glimpses of our life, different time periods in our life. It can be any age. Your story, it doesn't matter, of, you know, where something happened and God was there for you. Okay? Okay, so today, right after this video, well, not right after, I'd say, Lord willing, between an hour or 2 hours, depending on when my husband can get it uploaded, edited, and going, then you will get to see Valentine's story, which is called
Vacation in the West.
Yeah, so we hope you'll enjoy that, and that's a whole lot more upbeat, I will tell you that, than my story. My story was a little on the sad side.
Oh.
So this will be a lot more uplifting, so don't be shy to come and listen to it, okay? So yeah. Anyway, we hope that we've kind of clarified to you what the God in our stories is all about.
Yeah.
And yeah.
We hope to hear from you guys.
Definitely.
Don't be shy about that either.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well,
we hope that you like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. And Lord willing, we will see you on the next video.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.